Hello YouTubers, Alaska Prepper here. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I've got a good payday prep for you today. Let me tell you a little story. I got something that I never would have thought that I should have gotten unless I would have needed it. And it just happens that I needed these guys here this last week and I didn't have any extras. So let me tell you the story behind it first, all right? I'll keep you in suspense. What is this? What is this? Anybody know what this is? My wife and I had to do our tire changeovers on a couple of our vehicles here a few days ago. And it just happens that the lug nuts for her vehicle, we needed to replace several of them. And I was like, wow, you know what? What if we can't find those? What if we couldn't find those? Because if you take your vehicle to like a Costco or something like that, everything has to be within the regulations that's set. For example, if they go to change your tires out and the tires that you're changing onto for the winter, let's say they have some cracks in the sidewalls, they won't change them for you. Or let's say that if you have studded tires that you want to put on, they won't put on studded tires. Why? Because that's their rules. Be it their rules or regulations set by the state or the government, so be it. But it is what it is. So I ended up having to go and get some lug nuts for her vehicle. But I was thinking to myself, you know what? What if I couldn't find them? What if they weren't available? Then what would we do? I would have to try to get some from somewhere, order them from somewhere, wait for them to come in, and then see if they would get here in time before the snow fell. If you hear any noise in the background, that's just the dogs. They're out here playing. So lug nuts, ladies and gentlemen, have any of you ever thought about putting lug nuts away just in case? An extra set or an extra half of a set. So what I did is I got an extra 4. I'm going to go ahead and order enough to get an extra complete set for her entire vehicle. And the reason I'm only going to get one complete set is because it just happens that her vehicle and my vehicle take the exact same lug nuts. So this is one of my payday preps, and I'm kind of glad that I ended up needing some because it gives me something to get that I know that in the future I will more than likely need. Some people go their entire car's life without needing lug nuts, but what if you do? And imagine what an awesome barter item this would be if you run across someone that may need some. And the next item, ladies and gentlemen, is an item that I saw actually on the Nutrient Survival live stream where they're doing their giveaways, and Eric was showing this. And what this is an Explorer electric lighter. So this is a battery powered lighter. And I honestly didn't even know that these things existed until I seen it on his live stream. And the way that these work is they have an internal battery and they create a little arc right here. Let me see if you can see it. Let's see if that can focus in. I'm not sure if you can see that, but it's creating an electrical arc that you will be able to light something on fire with. Now, I don't think that you would really be able to put this up against something and light it on fire. I think that the best thing to do would just to light it and then put like a wick or something and then go ahead and put it on your fire or whatever you want to light on fire. But these guys are not expensive at all. They're like 10, 11 bucks a piece. So I grabbed one of them for each of our vehicles, and I grabbed an extra one for Victor's vehicle. That way him and Brenna can always have something to be able to light fire with easily inside of their vehicle. Now these are USB rechargeable, and they have a 300 milliamp battery in them, which is not very big, but as long as it lights, that's all that matters. And I've always stood fast by the fact, to me this is a fact, that when you want to start a fire, you want to be able to do it with the easiest possible instrument. If you have to go archaic, it's because you've already used all of the easiest things that you can use first. For example, I really like my torch lighter that I have, that all you have to do is press a trigger, and then after that I can use something like this. Then after that, I can try a lighter. And then after that, I can try matches. And then even if that fails, I can go to my magnesium rod along with my ferrocerium rod and then do it that way. Get some fat wood, etc., etc. But you should always start off with the easiest way to make fire and then have all of those other abilities as redundancies in case your number 1 or number 2 or even number 3 fails. Because if you need fire in an emergency, you need it. Right? So that's one of those things that is good to have a lot of redundancy for. So have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 backups for fire building if you can. Now, Mrs. Alaska Prepper is having a good time doing this, but I told Mrs. Alaska Prepper, I said, hey, listen, if you see any good sales like on baby clothes that are like a little farther ahead than what Michael needs, then go ahead and pick them up. So she's been having a great time. We just got this, a little 3-pack of onesies that are between 6 and 9 months old, I do believe. So that's another thing you want to be thinking about for your kids. We already did this with little Miss Alaska Prepper. I told my wife before school started, I said, listen, see if you can get her jeans and shoes and shirts that are out in the future. That way we can put it up and have it there for her. Why, ladies and gentlemen? I believe that eventually when China cuts us off, there's going to be a lot of things that we import now that we won't be able to import. And although I think it's a great idea that we bring all of our manufacturing back to the United States of America, once we decide to do that, it's going to take a couple of years, if not more than a couple of years, for it to actually be back and us to be able to provide for ourselves everything that we need. We have the ability to do it. We've just destroyed the infrastructure to do so over the years since we've been exporting all of our manufacturing and jobs to overseas locations. So you have to think about these things now. Do you have a newborn? Do you have a new grandson or grandchild? You know, that's a newborn. Maybe you ought to think a little bit out in the future and get them stuff now that you know they're going to need as well. Now, this is a good segue off of the newborn clothes and things that newborns are going to need. How many of you are still thinking about baby formula? All right. This just happens to be the baby formula that Michael needs because the other formulas kind of upset his stomach. So this is like an organic goat milk formula, and he really likes this, and it works really well for him. It's a little bit pricey, but Brenna and Cord and Michael, they just happened to be over here a couple of days ago, 2 or 3 days ago, and I asked them, I was like, how much formula do you have left to feed Michael right now in the house? And she said, oh, probably about enough for a month or so. I said, how long is he going to be on formula? She says, probably in about another 6 months or so. And I said, so you only have a month's worth of formula, and he's going to be on formula for another 6 months or so? And so then I went through the question, and I said, you know, about how long does one of these cans last you? These are the larger cans. And she said, oh, roughly a month or something like that. Or no, 2 weeks, around 2 weeks or so. I said, okay, no problem. So I just went on Amazon. They actually had them, the big cans. I ordered enough of this in order to make sure that my grandson has what he needs for at least the next 6 months or until he doesn't need them anymore. So are you thinking about this? I know we haven't heard anything about the baby formula stuff going on in the news where there was a shortage or anything like that. However, can it happen again? Who knows? Anything can happen, right, ladies and gentlemen? So if you can get it now, and you know that you're going to use it, then get it now. That's what preparedness is about. Well, ladies and gentlemen, you all know that I love Costco. And every time that I go to Costco and I see extension cords that are really good, thick, heavy-duty ones at a good price, I pick me up a set. I don't think you can have too many extension cords, especially if you plan on powering your house during an outage for a long time. You're going to need extension cords. And again, great barter item. So whenever I see these, and they're a good deal, and they're the nice thick ones, I always pick up a set. I might pick up another set before they go off sale. These weren't really that cheap. I think they were like $28, which in a way it is a good deal because these are 25-foot cords and these are 12-3, so these are 12-gauge wire. I figured that they would be rated at 20 amps since it's got 12-gauge wire in there, but they're only rated at 15 amps, which is fine. These will work just fine, but extension cords, can't have enough of them. Now, all of the things that we don't think about before we become grandparents, ladies and gentlemen. So normally the detergent that we use to wash our laundry is the Kirkland brand, the ones that come in that like orange bucket that have the little blue tabs in them. That's what we normally use. However, when Michael comes over and he spends the night or something like that, or spends the day with us, and we have to do a little bit of baby laundry, we've decided to go ahead and get the one that doesn't have any scent in it or anything like that. And depending on how we like it, we may just switch over to something like this. So we got a couple of brands. We got the All brand that has like no scent in it at all. And we also got this brand right here that, which even though it's scented, it says that it's hypoallergenic. So we're going to try each of these, see if these both work pretty good, or see which one works the best, and then go ahead and switch over to that. And just use this kind right here to go ahead and wash his clothes whenever he comes over, because he's only 3.5 months old, and I'm sure he's going to be coming over a lot more often as he gets older. In addition to the detergent that we got for Michael's clothes, I went ahead and got some powder detergent. And normally we don't like to use powder detergent, but let me tell you why I got it. One of my friends sent me a text with a few pictures a while back with some liquid detergents that he had stored away for a really long time. and the detergent actually ended up eating through the plastic of the container that it was in. Now, I'm not sure if it's because the container got too old or because the detergent actually deteriorated the container. So I went ahead and said, you know what, for long-term storage, so that I can go out 2 or 3 years, I'm going to go ahead and get some powder detergent. So this is going to be something that goes into like my cold storage, that I'm just going to have this one bucket here, which would be enough for about almost 250 loads or so, so almost a year's worth of laundry, if you want to look at it that way, that I can just put in a corner somewhere, and if we ever need it, we'll have it there to use. We're still going to continue using the detergent that we like to use. However, this is going to go into cold storage right here. It's not something that's going to save your life if you ever completely run out of it. And of course, you can make your own. But ladies and gentlemen, remember what I continue to say, that it's about normalcy. The more normalcy that you can keep within your standard of living, within the way that you live your life, in the middle of a major crisis or any crisis whatsoever, the better it will be for you. The less stress put upon you, and then you can use that energy that you would have otherwise used into something that's really going to matter during that time in the there and now. And no, I'm not lifting these up because these are a little bit heavy and my shoulder is a bum. So the last thing that we got is this. We got some cat litter, some extra cat litter. So I'm going to go ahead and put this in cold storage as well. Believe it or not, this box of cat litter right here will probably last us like 2.5, 3 months. Little Miss Alaska Prepper is very good at cleaning the cat litter box, when it needs to be cleaned, instead of waiting until it's all one big block. And she always adds a little more when she cleans it. So she's really good at that. With this will last us like 2 or 3 months. Well, we have another cat now, so we don't know if it'll last us that long now that we have Lucy. But I'm going to put this in cold storage as well, and then just continue using the ones that we have out already and continue replacing that one, because I don't think that this goes bad over time. So, ladies and gentlemen, that's going to be it for my payday prep. Oh, wait a minute. I got one other thing that I'm really excited about. I have always heard that this is like the best generator to get, or the best brand. And you all know that I love these little generators. And one of the reasons I love them is because they work. They've always worked for me. I've never had any problems with them whatsoever. I purchased this Furman from Costco for $349. And I purchased this little Yamaha iPower from Sam's Club, when Sam's Club was still here in Fairbanks, for $349, or $349.99, something like that, $350, right? This one, ladies and gentlemen, a lot more expensive. This one right here is the equivalent of 3 of any one of these. This was about $1,160. So I've watched a few videos that were put out on YouTube where they say you'll be sorry having bought one of these two and not having bought this one. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to review this one. I'm going to make this my primary generator for this winter and use it whenever I need it and see how it performs. And then I'm going to go ahead and do a review on it after I've given it a few months of usage to see which one I prefer. I've already started it and added oil to it and everything like that. And as far as power and everything, man, I'll tell you what, these cheaper ones, they perform about as well as this one. I even did a sound test to see how loud these were, and they were all about the same decibel rating. Right now, I understand that this one's supposed to be a much better quality, but we'll have to see. So one of the things that I've done to this generator already is I've gone ahead and installed an hour meter on it. As you can see, it's got 0.3 of an hour on it already. That's just from me starting it and letting it break in some. And I even put a little bit of a load on it. Now, the only difference between this one as far as power and those other ones is that this one is 2,200, where these are 2,000 each. Each of these are 2,000. Where this one can run continuous at 1,800 watts, these ones can run continuous at 1,600 watts. That's the difference. But I don't think that's that big of a difference where we can compare both of these as if they were kind of like equals, being that these are a lot cheaper than this one is. So be on the lookout for that. That's probably not going to happen until next year sometime, because like I said, I'm going to make this my primary this year, unless I have to turn on the entire house on, which for that I'll use my big generator. Thank you very much for joining in. I hope you got something out of this. And if you don't have any lug nuts, extra lug nuts for your vehicle, you might want to think about getting at least enough for one full tire set. You just never know. I think that's a great idea to have some lug nuts set on the side, just in case. You never know. Other than that, I hope you enjoyed this. Have a great day. Remember to be good to each other. When good people do good things happen. Remember to reach one, teach one, and repeat. If we all did this, the world would be a better place, and you know that it will be a better place. Many blessings to all of you and your families. I'm Alaska Prepper. I'm out.